I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the record, this is a public meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. It is 7:55 p.m., the 19th day of October, 2017. We're convening in the Anna J. Herbert Meeting Room. Presiding officers Joseph Broderick, President of the Bayonne Board of Education. Those in attendance include Dr. Michael Wanko, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Kenneth Kopaz, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel, Dr. Gary Maida, Board Secretary, Mr. Leo J. Smith, Jr., Assistant Superintendent for Business, Dr. Dennis Degnan, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, Mr. Joseph Garcia, Board Counsel. The meeting is open to the public. I will take a roll call. Trustee Cruden.
Present.
Trustee Desmond.
Here.
Trustee Finnerty.
Here.
Trustee Garlick.
Present.
Trustee Lawande.
Here.
Trustee Munoz.
Here.
Trustee Ryan.
Here.
Vice President Wilbeck.
Here.
President Broderick.
Here. For the record, adequate written advance notice of at least 48 hours giving the time, date, and location of this meeting with the agenda was provided as follows. Notice was prominently posted in City Hall at 630 Avenue C on a bulletin board reserved for such announcements of the Board of Education. The Board Secretary sent such notice to the Jersey Journal and the Bayonne Community News. Notice was filed with the Municipal Clerk of the City of Bayonne, Mr. Robert F. Sloan.
Okay, we will start with our approval of minutes and our acceptance of communications. May I have a motion
I'll motion.
and a second for adoption?
I'll second.
So that's a move by Trustee Cruden, a second by Trustee Desmond. On that move and second, Trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Finnerty?
Yes.
Trustee Garlick?
Aye.
Trustee Lawande?
Yes.
Trustee Munoz?
Yes.
Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Vice President Wilbeck?
Yes.
President Broderick?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda, and we'll start with Section A, Curriculum and Instruction. That includes resolutions A1 to A26. They are on our bulletin board, and they were posted to our website 48 hours before this meeting. Do I have a motion on the Curriculum and Instruction agenda?
I motion.
And do I have a second?
I will second.
Mr. D'Angelo?
I'm concerned about A24.
Give us a second to get to it. Yes.
I need an explanation to exactly what this is. Is this a course, or is this a...
Yes. Dr. Degnan?
Just a quick overview, Dr. Degnan, thank you.
Mr. D'Angelo, there were 60 students that were identified as not meeting expectations in the park that are in the cohort of 2021. They are being provided multiple measures to pass the Algebra 1 Part test. We've been advised by the NJDOE that we could give a refresher course. So, a refresher course, that's the way to describe it. Yeah.
Is there any credit, high school credit for that course?
No, it's a refresher course. It would be three days in the morning or 2 days in the afternoon. So we were requesting a mathematics certified teacher, and we were requesting a students with disabilities teacher for the refresher course. It will run until January, and then at that time we would give those students the full block park assessment.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a move by Trustee Ryan and a second by Trustee Finnerty on our Section A. Trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Finnerty?
Yes.
Trustee Garlick?
Aye.
Trustee Lawande?
Yes.
Trustee Munoz?
Yes.
Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Vice President Wilbeck?
Yes.
President Broderick?
Yes.
I'll move to Section B, which is our Budget and Finance, B1 to B13. Resolution B14 is being moved to non-consent. Do I have a motion
I move.
Motion by trustee Desmond, and do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
Second by trustee Garlick. So trustee Cruden,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Finerty,
Yes.
trustee Garlick,
Aye.
trustee Lawanda,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Ryan,
Yes.
vice president Wilbeck,
Yes.
president Broderick.
Yes.
That'll take us to section C, which is personnel. Includes resolution C1 to C14. Do we have a motion?
I make that motion?
And do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and second on the personnel agenda. Trustee Cruden,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Finerty,
Yes.
trustee Garrett,
Aye.
trustee Lawanda,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Ryan,
Yes.
vice president Wilbeck,
Yes.
president Broderick.
Yes.
That'll take us to the non-consent agenda portion, and I'll start with Resolution D1. It was approval of coaches, advisors. It is on our back bulletin board. Do I have a motion
I'll move.
and a second?
I will second that motion.
Do I have a motion and a second? Trustee Cruden,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Abstain.
trustee Finerty,
Yes.
trustee Garrett,
Aye.
trustee Lawanda,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Ryan,
Yes.
vice president Wilbeck,
Yes.
president Broderick.
Yes.
Next up is D2, personnel of various positions. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion.
And do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
On that motion and second, trustee Cruden,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Abstain.
trustee Finerty,
Yes.
trustee Garrett,
Aye.
trustee Lawanda,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Ryan,
Yes.
vice president Wilbeck,
Yes.
president Broderick.
Yes.
I have a resolution that's not listed on your agenda. I've called it D3. It is on the bulletin board, but I will read it. Whereas pursuant to NJAC 6A:85.2F, the chief school administrator or lead person must report to the New Jersey Department of Education data on a recent graduate's pathway to graduation. Whereas this Board of Education will comply with the corresponding regulations and such to submit data on which pathway students embarked on to fulfill the assessment portion of the graduation requirement. Be it hereby resolved that the chief administrator or lead person of the Bayonne School District provided and reported graduation results to the school board at a public meeting in accordance with NJAC 6A:8-5.2F. Disseminated data on the graduation pathways as such: A, park assessments; B, alternative assessments such as the SAT and ACT; and C, the alternative portfolio review. Do I have a motion
I'll move.
and a second?
I will second that motion.
On that motion and second, trustee Cruden,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Finerty,
Yes.
trustee Garrett,
Aye.
trustee Lawanda,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Ryan,
Yes.
vice president Wilbeck,
Yes.
president Broderick.
Yes.
And my final resolution was moved from the B agenda, B14, whereas the Bayonne Board of Education posted a request for proposal for staffing services under the provisions of the competitive contracting process, whereas the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel, in conjunction with the Personnel Committee of the Bayonne Board of Education, has reviewed and evaluated all proposals received in accordance with the evaluation criteria set forth in the request for proposals. Whereas Source 4 teachers received the highest weighted score amongst all proposers, therefore be it resolved that the Bayonne Board of Education hereby approves the contract with Source 4 teachers under the provisions of the competitive contracting process. The contract is to provide educational staffing services and is in effect from October 24th, 2017 through June 30th, 2020, with a fixed contractor percentage of 26.99%. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
I want to talk about it. Can we?
Okay, and a second.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Mr. D'Angelo, you can take to the microphone.
Would I be correct in saying this is for substitute teachers?
Correct.
Yeah. You have a contract that you're going to sign that goes from the 24th of this month through June 30th, 2020. Are you bound by that?
No.
No.
It's
If you don't like the services that you receive, you can break that contract?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, but.
Well, go through the president, please.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
All right. Well, based on the numbers that I got, it's going to cost us more money to actually have the service than to actually not have the service. So I want to know what's the benefit of it.
Well,
Could I-
if I can answer a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, for one thing, I think the numbers that you're talking about are pending on how many teachers we'd have to use as 60-day teachers that we'd end up giving the salary to for the entire year. If we kept it the way it is, if a substitute is in a room for 60 days, we have to pay them the entire teacher salary for that year. If they're an employee for another company, we wouldn't have to do that. One of the other reasons I like it is, I was assured that we could still, am I missing something? I was assured that we could still pick the teachers we want, the substitutes. In fact, the sub-bank that we have right now would be our primary sub-bank, if I'm not mistaken. So we wouldn't be losing those people. It's still, if Miss Jones in the 4th grade likes Miss Smith a lot, she can get Miss Smith, provided she's available that day. That's the way it would work. So I like that idea. Going for the subs themselves, they'd be given benefits that we couldn't provide them. So they would be part of a program that they would actually get some kind of benefits now. So I think it would also be a help to them. So, and finally, it's just a matter of having a lot more teachers to deal with so that the board on certain days wouldn't get stuck, say, we don't have enough subs to carry all the teachers, all the classrooms that we have to fill. Certain days these things happen. This would give us a bigger bank of substitutes to take care of that problem.
Yeah, but as of right now, we're paying them $85 a day. If we go with this company, we're paying them $107.95 a day. And then basically, if you do the numbers that I was given, it's $2,721,610 instead of $2,527,000. If we give any sub 107, it doesn't matter what district they're at, they're going to come here. Because that's going to be higher than Jersey City, I think it's going to be higher than Staten Island, and then you're going to have all the subs that you want. And then you're going to have all that services that you were talking about. So I don't understand it. We're paying more money for something that we're already doing.
But we're not doing it as...
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, please, go ahead. I was going to ask,
Yeah, go ahead.
Ms. Finity, then we'll go to Mr.
right, I was going to ask the business administrator or Matthew, someone, or, sorry,
So lots of people were involved in this. Ava should ask her question first.
Okay, go ahead.
but I do think-
Let's go through the chair, please, folks.
Okay, Ms. Finity, let's go you first.
Oh, Ms. Barr, because I sat on the committee, and I was part of the presentation of Source for Teachers. Mike, you have a point, but it's a variable. You can't say this is exactly what you're going to pay next year, because teacher absenteeism is a variable. You don't know. My biggest concern is this, and I think a number of people can back me up. I do not want any classroom that does not have a teacher in front of it, and I much prefer a qualified teacher.
Then you give them $107, and you're going to have flocks of substitutes that want to come to this district, and you'll never have them.
How do you know that?
Because that's it. It's $107. I think Jersey City is $100. And I think Hoboken, well, go ahead. How much is Hoboken, do you know?
no, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
Hoboken has nothing to do with this, but may I ask?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, me? Them? Who? Okay, anyone? Anyone? Okay, can you hear me? All right. I understand what Trustee Lawande is trying to say. I think that our first responsibility is to the safety and education of the students in this district. And the fact of the matter is, we cannot meet the needs right now of the amount of substitute teachers that we need on a daily basis because we don't have enough subs in our pool. Source for Teachers is going to provide us with subs. We're going to be able to keep our subs, and there will be a qualified person in every classroom. They've guaranteed this. We have a contract with them. If they can, they say they can do it. I say we give them an opportunity because I understand it may cost a little bit more, but the safety and the education of our students, I think it's worth it.
It's $191,000 more.
$191,000
more.
All right. Well, you know what?
If we bring the rate up for the substitutes, we will have more.
You can't put a price tag on the safety and education of our students.
President
Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
Ms. Desmond? Trustee
President Broderick, I would ask that you give the representatives from Source for Teachers an opportunity to respond to the cost issue. It was explained multiple times to us, and perhaps central office will get ready to do likewise. And
Yeah, please.
thank you, Ava, for being on the committee because you did do a really good job, but I think perhaps they could address the, and
Mr. Broderick, I'd just like to make a comment also. I wasn't on the committee to select this vendor, but I just want to say one thing, that I think when you just look at the price involved from year to year of what we spent on substitute teachers and then try to extrapolate out into the future what that price will be, we're talking about two different things. One is the price, which is strictly the numeric difference from year to year. But what is the cost that this Board of Education pays when we don't have a qualified teacher to go in a classroom? Now, I know it doesn't happen that frequently, but it does happen from time to time when we just completely exhaust our substitute pool of teachers. And that's important to me, that we always have people that have a much larger pool to accommodate any of the emergencies that we have. And I agree, you're talking about price, but I don't want to pay the cost. And that's all I have to say.
Are we allowed to have?
Sure.
If you guys would like to maybe enlighten us a little bit as to financially how we're going to save.
Excuse me, my name's Ron Glisk with Source for Teachers. And, I'm sorry?
I said I think there's a complete misunderstanding.
And maybe I can clarify that a little bit. When you talk about an $80 base wage rate, that does not include the other costs that you will be paying on top of that. So within our markup of 26.9% includes those costs such as FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workers' comp, general liability, and all of that. So if you were to go to the 107, you'd be paying a portion of those on top of the 107 as well. So there's that aspect of it. Does that help in some ways?
Yeah, so I think we pay $80, but then I brought it up to 85 because of that percentage that you're talking about. So it's, I think, 6.9% or something like that.
Well, that's one element of it. But then there is also the long-term side of it, where once our employees stay at the daily rate we're talking about, you've got a cost avoidance portion, which I think is what the President's talked about. That cost avoidance portion, rough numbers that we were doing at the break, is closer to $300,000 based on some of the numbers that were thrown around in the earlier session. So we've done this analysis many times, and our conservative showing is actually that we'll save about $120,000. So I think it's that load factor is a part of it, and also the cost avoidance portion of it. So.
And where that savings is coming from after 60 days, you have to put that individual on step one of the guide, the long term. So now you're paying that individual $297 a day rather than the $85 rate that we would pay, or the long term rate of the $120. So that's where the savings is.
No, I understand, but I took the numbers that they gave me, that they provided, and then I added it, and I based it based on your numbers, and then we're gonna end up paying $191,000 more. It's not, we're not gonna save 121, we're gonna end up paying on 191.
I don't know what numbers
I'm not sure the numbers I gave you.
Okay, so they said $1,990,000.
Right.
Divided by 85. That would equal 23,411.
But real quick, if you
I'm going to ask that we get on mic, because I don't know if the public is getting it.
Correct. So if you do the figures we got from last year is 1.9 million, 1,995,950. Then you have to put FICA, 7.65% on top of that. So that's 151,000. So now you have to add that number to the 1.5. Okay? Then you also have a sub-caller of 35,000. So that's part of the sub-program. So you have to add that as well. The district also looked at getting ASOP, and they got a quote of $50,000. That's the automated system that we're going to bring. So when you add all those costs up, the district.
I don't think you could add that cost yet.
Okay. Then take 2,232,771 minus $50,000. So whatever that number is, and then when we come over, we're not going to pay that $297 for those 12 individuals that you had long-term last year from 60 to 180. We're only going to pay them, I think it was $120. So that's where that cost savings is going to be. So our program, apples to apples, was going to cost the district $2.1 million, and that's where the $121,000 savings was. But if you want to take out the $50,000, that's fine. Then we're still saving you $70,000 if we do it apples to apples.
Yeah, but I did it the other way. I actually took the 1.990. Actually, I didn't know it was a 5. I'll add it, and it came out to 23,411 substitutes daily or whatever. And then after that, you multiply it times 26%, 99 that you guys did, and then it comes out to 107 per day, and then it comes out to $2,527,000.
But you're putting our markup on your whole entire cost.
Okay.
Our markup is encompass of that FICA, so that you're hearing 26, so you're just putting 26 on your whole entire cost. Our 26 has the FICA included, has all that cost included in the 26.
So it's 26.99 times 80 or 85?
85, that's what your daily rate is right now.
That's what I did. And it came out to $2,527,300. And then $194,000 for the 10 teachers that we had that were doing sub-permanent.
Unfortunately, I'm not following the math of where you're getting your numbers at. Because don't forget, your 2.2 million has that $297,000 or $297 daily rate in there. When we come in, you're just putting that markup on your number. It's not going to cost our all-in. Our total payroll is only 1.6 with us.
With that number, I actually didn't even include them. That's on the side. I have another 540 and another $35,000 because that's what we're paying. That's why my number for us, it comes out to $2,565,000. For you, it comes out to $2,721,000.
I don't know where the math is coming from. Because we're not. Your total payroll is 1.9, and then you have all that FICA on top. Our total payroll is 1.6, because you're paying the long terms $297 from day 61 to day 180. We're not paying $296 from day 61 to day 180. We're paying 120. So there is a $170 difference that we're paying less savings than what you guys are paying for the 12 individuals working 61 day to 180 day. So what you're doing, you're putting what your cost is and putting our markup on top of it, but our payroll is different than your payroll because we don't have to pay that 297 long-term rate.
Let me ask you a question. Would the paraprofessionals and also substitutes get the same money from your organization as they are getting presently?
Correct. The daily substitute, correct. The daily substitute, you guys have two rates. You have an $80 rate or an $85 rate and a $95 for special services. So yes, we were going to pay those two daily rates the same, and then your paraprofessionals get 77. We're going to pay them the same. The only thing that we're going to do different is the long term, because we don't have to pay the step one of your teacher guide. We're going to pay them the 120.
Mr. D'Angelo?
Up at the mic, please.
My question is, the people that...
Up at the microphone, please. Nobody can hear you but us.
My question, what I'm concerned about is, first of all, it doesn't seem like the board researched this enough. They're not on the same page with this, and you're going to pass a resolution that I don't know if you should do that tonight until you get more information or you answer Mr. Lawande's question. Second of all, I can't ask these gentlemen any question, but I'll ask you. The people that they put in these sub-positions, beyond 60 days, they're only paying them one something. Are they certified in that subject that they're going to be put into?
Mr. D'Angelo, allow me to answer that question to the best of my ability. The information that was given to us, both on the committee for personnel, as well as some of the trustees have received over the past week or so, one of the attractions that I picked up was the recruitment, the placement, and the training of the individuals that would be coming on board. I was impressed by it. If they fulfill the activities and or the requirements that they presented to us, I tend to think it would only improve the Bayonne Board of Education and their ability to fulfill classrooms that are requiring expertise or specialization. Their sources of recruitment were numerous, and of course they have shown increments in the numbers of personnel that are available to them. I tend to think, in agreement with Mr. Garelick and some of the other trustees, the fact of the matter, trial and error would be probably the most efficient way that we could go forward in this particular situation. I know as a fact that we have been minus teachers. I think in the past week we have had a number of classrooms that we were not able to put in substitute teachers, and we had to scramble to meet the needs. The same thing applied to some of the elementary schools over the past week, and I know this as a fact. I tend to think that they should be given an opportunity to show their ability and their professionalism. If it improves our Board of Education, I'm in favor of it. I do not know or speak for the other trustees, but I tend to think the sooner we get this particular program in operation, it would be better for us.
If I could just add one thing to Mr. D'Angelo's statement, is that he was wondering whether somebody qualified would be in if it was a 60-day situation.
Yeah, what the question...
Well, according to
Go
what
ahead.
we understand, we're in complete control of somebody we wouldn't want. So if it is, certainly would have to be somebody that would be, if it's a math teacher, they'd have to have a math certificate background. We wouldn't want somebody in a position like that that wasn't, qualified in that area.
They would be math certified.
Correct.
According to the...
So what you're saying, yeah, I take their word for it. So they're going to be able to get math certified teachers to come in and teach a year for $20,600.
Well, they'll have a bigger pool than we would have to do the same thing.
You really think you're going to get a math certified teacher to teach for $20,000 a year when they can go anywhere else and get more than 55? I don't see that person staying in the position. I'm concerned about, you're worried about the Park scores. You put somebody in there that isn't math certified and doesn't stay for the entire year, it's going to impact on all the scores, which impacts on the teachers that I represent. So if you're able to assure me that, as the gentleman said to me when I asked the question, mentioned that they are going to provide you with math or science, you're going to get a physics certified person to do physics for $20,000 a year? Really? I can't believe it. But if you can, it's a hell of a deal.
Mr. Brown?
Mr. Ryan.
Mr. D'Angelo, we have met, sorry, Mr. D'Angelo, we have met.
Please, speak a little loud, please.
Speak louder now. We have met multiple times across multiple committees, so there was research done. Okay? That's the first thing. This is not being done on the fly. My turn. Because Mr. Luandi, get used to democracy. Mr. Luandi is questioning some numbers. That's all he's doing. It doesn't mean research wasn't done. It says he's questioning numbers, which he's very capable at. His numbers have been uncanny. And good for him. Now, we also have a circuit breaker that says that if the projections don't match, we can get out in 60 days. You may forget, we had a crisis. We have to do something. So this is one of those somethings we can do, and we can try it. Number two, when you talk about having a certified math teacher in the substitute pool, tell me that we have one now. You're comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing apples to oranges. When we go and put somebody in a substitute pool, we try to get a certified math teacher. You're right. If it's going to be the whole year, that's a different thing. We're going to have to look for a teacher. They're very hard to find. We have to get what we can get.
Excuse me, excuse me.
But
The microphone, and it has to go through the chairman.
you're right, they have to be certified. I'm not arguing with you, but we cannot compare hiring somebody at the start of the year to hiring somebody who gets sick suddenly, to cover for somebody who gets sick suddenly. Can't do that.
I'm only referring to the people that are hired beyond the 60 days.
And then we get to vet them, as they have said.
And they're certified in the subject.
By law, we're going to have to meet the requirements of the law. But to sit there and say that we're going to try to get around that somehow, or to insinuate that we're not going to do that because we're hiring another company, doesn't seem fair to anybody at that point.
No, that's not what I'm questioning.
Then I'm sorry, I
I'm
misunderstood
amazed
you.
that the situation here is telling me that these gentlemen can provide a certified math, science, physics teacher at $20,000 a year. That doesn't seem...
Talk to them.
Well, you're hiring them, I'm not...
I understand.
I'm asking...
They can give it.
Trustee
Desmond.
Through the president,
Yes.
I would like to hear from the experts. This has, and Charlie, you're exactly right. A lot of time has been spent on this. It's been open public workshops, it's been committees, it's been months, and central office has spent an inordinate amount of time, and I'd like to hear, particularly if you don't mind, from Mr. Kopaz, and also from, again, the vendors that we are trying to contract with.
Okay, Mr. Kopaz, would you like to?
Thank you, President. Yes, this isn't a new problem in Bayonne. When I was a principal at Washington 8 years ago,
We need substitute microphones.
I like that.
President, this is not a new problem in the Bayonne Board of Ed. This is a problem that has been going on. As I was a principal 8 years ago at Washington Community School, we'd be scrambling in the morning to cover classes. Now, I hired 126 teachers and teacher assistants for substitutes last year alone. The year before, Mr. Craig hired over 80. We were short on days last year, some Mondays and Fridays, throughout the year, close to 25 substitute teachers and teacher assistants. There are issues that we have to address. What we are doing is not working. It's 2017, and we have one person answering an answering machine and phone calls in the morning, and also assigning. One, we wanted to go, when Dr. Wanko came in, we wanted to go to the old ASAP Frontline computer program. It cost us too much money. They would not give us a price that we were comfortable with, so we started looking at best practices throughout the state. We went to the competitive contracts. We received the RFP. We had presentations from multiple presenters. We had them in with personnel. Can I tell you how many long-term subs we are going to need? No, no one can. What I can tell you is we have a problem, and it needs to be addressed. We have classrooms that need to be covered, and we, in October, after hiring 126 substitutes last year, we're short 10 substitutes, and it's only October. So yes, I am 100% with you when I say if it doesn't work, or if it's not working, and Source for Teachers will not make the adjustments necessary to make us comfortable, they will no longer be with us, and we'll try another plan. But to sit back and do nothing and do the same thing that we've been doing year after year, I'm not comfortable with that. We have an issue. Again, I think this is a plan to address that issue, and I'm looking for an opportunity to make a positive change in our district.
Mr. Kopaz and Mr. Broderick, with your permission, could we address that question to one of the representatives from the panel? Will you be able to fulfill specialized needs in this system, whether it be science or math or language arts, whatever the case may be, from grade K to grade 12, or now pre-K?
Vice President, I don't mean to cut
Okay, I apologize if I...
No, I will be working hand in hand with Source for Teachers. When we need a mathematics teacher, we are not going to have someone in a classroom that is not certified in mathematics.
You're not
It's a
relinquishing your
long-term
responsibility.
position. That's not going to happen. I've been finding mathematics teachers, Mr. Craig's been finding mathematics teachers. We're going to continue to find them, and when I find them, we will either send them over to Source for Teachers, or Source for Teachers will have a good candidate that we will evaluate when they come to our schools. Our principals will take ownership, our teachers. The best way for us to know who is a good substitute is by the teachers and the principals. They need to take ownership of this process, which at this time, they have zero input in. So one, it would be an advantage for us to give them that ownership, but in no way are we ever going to have a teacher in front of our students that I personally am not comfortable with. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, my daughter is in Henry Harris School. If I'm not comfortable with the teacher in front of her classroom, I'm not going to let any other student or child in the district have a teacher that I'm not comfortable with if it wasn't my own daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. I appreciate that. Could you respond if you don't mind?
No, thank you. In reference to our long-term teachers or our recruiting for them, the teachers that are in the classroom for over the 60 days, we have the opportunity to have a larger pool and we have more resources available going towards it all the time. We have many college relationships. We have standard weekly meetings at many of the colleges and are working with all of their offices and their education departments. We're filling a lot of our long-terms with either retired teachers and also some new teachers. One of the things that we had talked about earlier in our presentations was the ability for a long-term teacher to learn the district, somebody who maybe doesn't have the classroom experience, who's coming in front of an HR office with other resumes upon being looked for a permanent position, but doesn't have the classroom experience. Coming on board as a long-term allows them to build their resume, allows them to work through Source for Teachers and get a placement in a district, and then if they do well, Bayonne has the opportunity to then turn them into a district teacher. The colleges is really, in the education departments, we speak at them often. We start with the undergrads. We're starting with those that have the 60 college credits that are in the education field, getting them the sub-cert and getting them involved in working with our organization on the forefront so that when they're ready to graduate, they're already in our systems and available to our partner districts and can walk into these classrooms comfortable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to bring up one more thing, and I don't know how, it's not something you can put a dollar and cents on, but as you just heard from our assistant superintendent, that he probably interviewed over 127 people, I believe, for substitutes for this year alone. Think how else we could have used that assistant superintendent if he's not spending that many hours interviewing potential substitutes. It certainly frees up a lot of time for somebody to be in classrooms, going to different schools. I think it's a cost-effective thing we'd be doing just from that point of view. Just to throw that out there. Thank you. Yes, trustee.
Okay, so I do have a motion and a second on this agenda, and based on that motion and second, trustee Cruden?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Finnerty?
Yes.
Trustee Garrett?
Aye.
Trustee Lawanda?
I'm gonna vote no, and based on saving $191,000, I think we could use it for something else. So that's why I'm voting no.
Trustee Munoz?
Yes.
Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Vice President Wilbeck?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment before I vote. In agreement with Mr. Kopaz, I tend to think there's a need, and I believe that this need can be met by Source for Teachers, so I say yes.
President Broderick?
I'd just like to make a little statement that I'd like to save money for this district any way we can. Probably not as much as Trustee Rwandi, but I'm probably second. But I think when it comes to the needs for the classrooms to be filled, to have qualified people in front of our classrooms, I'm going to vote yes.
Okay. Resolution passes. I have a few questions now. This is the question, comments from the public portion of the meeting. First up is our student representative, Mr. Victor Lazaro from Bayonne High School. Once again, Victor, welcome.
How you doing, Vic?
Good. Good evening, Board of Education trustees, Intern Superintendent Dr. Wanko, Assistant Superintendents Kopaz, Smith, and Dr. Degman. I'm here to remind all of you of our upcoming events in the month of October. First, our first annual homecoming will be on this Saturday on October 21st. And lately we've been receiving positive feedback from students and are very excited to join on this event. On the week of October 23rd, we will be still having our Spirit Week, which will go as follows: Monday, Flannel Day; Tuesday, Decades Day; Wednesday, Color Wars; Thursday, Characters Day; and Friday, Spirit Day. Afterwards, on October 25th, we will be hosting our annual Fright Nights, which was a successful event from last year. And we're hoping for the continued support of these upcoming events. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Andrew Goodson, 51.
Adrian.
You're up? Adrian. Thank you. Just up at our microphone. Miss Adrian Goodson, 51 Silver Street. Welcome her back, one of our distinguished alumni. That's okay. Nice to have you back.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to stand here and speak, to get the opportunity to actually listen to how I would be affected, because I am a substitute teacher, so all of it was Greek to me. The numbers sound bazangas, and I hope that, you know, you guys come to a resolution with that, and those people that came to agreement, and the young man here, I don't remember what your name is, that didn't come, Mike, then you didn't come into agreement. I hope that all works out for you and you see the beauty in all of it. I hope it works out for everybody. First of all, I would like to say good evening, and I want to thank you for allowing me to stand here today to just speak my piece. Some things that are probably late, some things that I probably should have said last year when things were kind of out there, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about as far as our image for the school was concerned. Speaking this evening, I mean, thank you guys for bringing in Dr. Wanko. You were my principal when I was here at the school, so I was really happy to see you and bringing him in as a change agent for the school. And I hope that, you know, God will lead people to you that are most of all, you know, kind and, you know, have the heart of man, so that you can do your job successfully here. I hope you stay here with us. I hope you don't leave. I remember good things about you. I see a lot of change, and some good, but not enough. And when I say this, I hope that everyone would receive this with an open heart. You know, if you need to close your eyes or whatever, receive it with an open heart, because it's not a knock. It's just an observation of what it is that I see. I grew up here. I'm from Bayonne. I was born in Jersey City, raised here. A part of the PAL, the system that came up. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Mr. Wilbeck, you were one of my teachers. We've had this conversation. And like I said, please keep an open mind. I speak, when I say that I think that we need some change, I speak just from the lack of diversity that I see, and take that with an open heart, please. I'm talking about with the lack of loving kindness that I see lately among the school that I hold dear to my heart. Please keep that, and keep an open heart with that. Dr. Wanko, I hope that people come in here that'll help you foster and develop the change that we need to have here at this school. I have a lot of pride in the school. I went to this school. I had people who supported me, like you, like Miss Longo, like Mr. Levan, like Mr. Chappell. All of the names that I can put out there. People that helped me get to where I am. Looking at my resume, And you guys don't have it in front of me. I didn't have time. Today's my birthday. Actually, today's my mother's birthday and my birthday. But I really just wanted to come and speak today because I really want us to come together. The first day of school, I distanced myself from some people just because I wanted to see what the atmosphere was going to be like when I came back here. The family atmosphere that we talked about. That's what got us to the point where we are, where we have the trophies in the hallway, we have the pride. We need to allow our kids to wear their jerseys on game days. It's the pride that we had up in this school. We worked as a family, we worked as a unit to make things happen, to make things work. For each other, for the betterment of each other. I don't remember too many teachers that I had in this school that didn't push me to become all of the things that I became. My goal was to make my mother proud, make the Goodson name proud, make Bayonne High School proud. I took Bayonne High School to Old Dominion University. I took Bayonne High School with me to China, to Barcelona, to Spain, to Germany, to the American Basketball League. We had a sense of pride, and it's that sense of pride that had us where we could have that sign out in front of the door that says School of Excellence. And walk with pride, and have pride. And know that we're going to work it out and get through this no matter what it takes, no matter how much it takes. But we have to lean on one another. And I will call each person in this room to take a stand on that, to work together, to work it out for the substitute teachers, to work it out for whatever debt the school may be in. It didn't happen overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight. And I know that a lot of people have high expectations of Dr. Wenko. He's only one man. And that's why I say I pray for people to come around you who are going to help you to put the school back on its ground. Because I'm not going to, and I know I'm not speaking only for myself, I speak for other people. I was embarrassed. I don't want that feeling anymore. I'm here. I'm available. I'm not saying that I came home to Bayonne, New Jersey because that's what I wanted to do. I was comfortable at Old Dominion University down in Virginia Beach. My mom needed me home. And when family calls, we stop everything. Just like you said, you're not going to have your daughter sitting in front of somebody who's not qualified to teach her what you want her to learn so that she can be better and compete with all of the other kids that are going to be out there 20 years from now. Am I correct? I don't know what compelled me to stop everything that I was doing today. Tell my mom, hey, look, let's bite this cake real quick because I got to go up here to the school. I want to listen and see what's going on. I want to be in the know. But also let people know that I'm available. I'm here. I'm not here to try to take people's jobs. I still have dreams, goals, and aspirations to do greatness and make the city proud of me. I'm going to continue to do that. But at the same time, I would hope that the school will work hard for the betterment of Adrian Goodson and my niece and my nephew that would eventually come through the school someday. And that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say.
Bayonne strong, Adrian. Bayonne strong.
Thank you.
You make us proud.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys have a good evening, and that's it.
Thank you. Next up, Mr. Wyatt, Joe Wyatt, 301 Maple Avenue, North Plainfield, New Jersey.
Hello? Still on?
Yes.
Okay. President Broderick, may I make some comments about the substitute situation without using up my 3 minutes, or are you going to force me to use up my 3 minutes?
Well, can I address that for a second?
Sure.
The board does have a policy, and that policy does state 3 minutes.
Yep.
But as you can see from what we just did,
Yes, I know. I've
we
seen
had
it
three.
happen.
We have 3 cards tonight. So I think the board has common sense that obviously when we have 20 to 30 speakers, we're pressed sometimes to hold people to that 3 minutes. But on an evening like tonight, we have 3 people that asked to speak. And as you can see, the board did allow that over the 3 minutes. So I would give you the same courtesy I just gave to Ms. Goodson. So you can proceed.
Well, I can tell you, are you interested in, Mr. Broderick, are you interested in what the opinion of a teacher that actually has to deal with substitutes?
Yes. Certainly.
Okay, so I have never had a substitute that's qualified to do what I do. That's just the way it is. I mean, and remember, you're going to have the same, all of the Bayonne substitutes are going to be in the pool. Now, that's not a criticism. So I know that the person who's going to come in to be my substitute is not qualified to teach my course. Therefore, I set it up so they don't have to do that. The children will have proper work to do, they will advance their education, but I cannot depend on the substitute to be able to actually teach them. So therefore, I'll usually give a test or something like that, you know, an assessment, so that, or there'll be a video, and then the children have something to do. I know that the reason the state says that after 60 days you have to pay the teacher the substitute teacher as a regular teacher is because some boards, not you, but some districts use that as a way to not pay for a qualified teacher, to keep that substitute in there who's not qualified and still pay them $85, okay? An hour. And I know this happened here. There was a chemistry class that the teacher, there were 3 teachers in there, and none of them, some of them were qualified, but they quit. They kept it rotating because they couldn't tolerate. They didn't know how to manage the class. They couldn't really do the teaching. You know, being certified doesn't mean you can actually teach the course. It just means you've gone through the requirements that the state has set up. And I really seriously doubt that This is, I don't mean to be disparaging, but I really don't think they could ever find, if I was out more than 60 days, I don't think they could ever find a teacher that could do what I do and follow, even if I gave them all my lesson plans and everything else, they just wouldn't be able to execute it because there's so few people that are qualified to do that. So that's just what I'm saying. Now, I agree that you're going to get a bigger pool. That'll solve the problem of having, having enough substitute teachers. So we got somebody in front of the classroom, but
one of the other benefits, though, Mr. Wyatt, is that you could actually put a list, and I'm not saying they're going to be as good as you, but if you want someone that, say, can control the classroom for that day, you're going to be out a day or two, and you need someone just to make sure that the classroom's running according to what you want done. You could put a list of names, and these people, that's who they go to first. If you want Jack Jones,
yeah, that's what I do already.
Well,
I do that. There are substitutes who want to have my class because my class is disciplined. They don't have discipline
well,
problems.
this would continue through this.
I know, but I can't ask that teacher to teach the class. That's the point. And if you're going to be out more than 60 days, you've got to have somebody in there that can actually carry out the instruction.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but you did hear Source for Teachers actually say they have retired teachers that are actually certified in the subject content area.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they
all I'm
actually
saying
could
is
do what you do.
You got to make really sure that that really happens.
Well, I mean,
That's all I'm saying.
that's why
I'm saying
we-
in
no,
your
but that's why we
evaluation
contracted
process,
them to make
I'm
sure of that.
skeptical. I'm skeptical.
I mean, we're all skeptical.
Yeah.
Would you like to go on to your second question?
Yeah, my second question is, why isn't there a provision in here for more than 3 minutes so that I could petition for 3 minutes?
Because it is our board policy. If you want to petition the board to change their board policy.
No. I'm not saying in the policy, I should be able to ask, could I have 10 minutes rather than 3? And then you guys get to decide, no, we're not going to give you 10 minutes, we're going to give you 3 minutes. It's because I got some things to say that are very important. I can't say them in 3 minutes. Now, if you're going to hold me to 3 minutes, I will come here until the warm place freezes over. I will keep coming every month and I'll read the section that I want because there's, if you're not going to do that, then you have to have some other way that you can get information, that people can get information in front of you. It says here, you don't want to stifle comments, but you do.
Trustee, if I can just jump in for a minute. In the past, I know you didn't like the answers that were given, but in the past you have written some very nice letters to the board, which I've distributed to the board, and they have spent a lot of time reading. You're always welcome to that, but as you saw tonight, the board is giving time, but we're limited on just how much time we could give because we still have to go inside.
The question is, why don't you have a
Excuse me, I'm
position?
speaking. We still have to go inside and continue a lot of work in closed session, and these folks have lives. I mean, we can't be here till 1 o'clock in the night like we used to. It just is not fair to people that are trying to serve the community.
Plus, I believe a lot of your issues really need to go through, it's kind of a chain of command. You would need to go to your director. You'd need to go to, if that's not someone that's helping you, you need to go to one of our assistant
Mr. Broderick,
superintendents.
Mr. Broderick.
And I've spoken to you on several occasions.
In all fairness, there was no way to get it through there. And listen, I have written you letters, and I have never gotten a reply.
That's
Never.
not true, Mr.
Yes,
Wyatt.
it is.
That's not true.
I can produce the letters that you have never actually replied.
Spoken in regards to your letters, and every one of us here have opened and read, and we have even brought to your attention change that was about coming, and change that did come. So you can't say that, not with a straight face, and expect us to say, okay.
I will send you the letters that I have not gotten a reply to.
You get those to me.
I will give them to you.
Those to the
They're a year old.
We have met. I've met with you.
I know, but I don't know that. You know, I'd appreciate a note saying, I took the time to write you a letter. You should at least say, we're doing this. We expect to resolve it by such and such a day. All I want is some information. Mr. Munoz, you know that.
No, I understand, but you have received replies. I mean, I understand maybe not the replies that you would like.
No, I haven't received any reply. I'm
Mr.
telling you.
We had conversations. I mean,
Excuse me, that's not a written reply.
you want a written reply?
Yes, of course I do, because I wrote to you. You need to write to me. That's all I'm saying.
Once again, if you would get me any copies of anything that you did not feel you got a reply, I would pass it on to the board, and they will talk to central administration.
That's all I'm saying.
And we will
Mr.
clear
Wyatt,
that up.
thank you very much. It's always a
Mr.
pleasure.
Wyatt. Thank you for your
Thank
comments.
you, Mr. Wyatt.
That is all the questions I have written for tonight, unless there's anyone else in the audience. Mr. D'Angelo, any last comments? Okay, so I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Trustee Cruden, second by Trustee Desmond. On that motion and second to adjourn, Trustee Cruden, Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Trustee Finnerty.
Yes.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Trustee Lawande.
Yes.
Trustee Munoz.
Yes.
Trustee Ryan. Vice President Wilbeck.
Yes.
President Broderick.
Yes.
It is 8:52. The board will not return.